All right, so welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah,
Today, we're going to be exploring something pretty fascinating, I think.
I think so too.
Xiaomi,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Chinese tech giant that many people know for their smartphones, their gadgets, all kinds of different consumer electronics.
Right.
They're making a pretty bold move
Yeah.
into the world of EVs.
Electric vehicles.
Electric vehicles.
It's certainly a fascinating development.
Absolutely.
We see tech companies expanding into new markets all the time.
Right.
But this is a pretty significant leap, I think, for a company like Xiaomi.
So to dive into this, we're going to be taking you through some excerpts from the Xiaomi Auto Wikipedia page.
Okay.
And it's going to be enough to give you, I think, a pretty solid understanding of their journey so far.
And we'll kind of unpack, what this move means for the future of the EV market.
Right.
What can a company known for its technology expertise and cost-effective production, what can they bring to an industry that's traditionally been dominated by these legacy automakers?
Right. Exactly. It's a really good question.
Yeah.
So let's start with the big announcement.
Okay.
This was March 2021.
Yeah.
Xiaomi just dropped a bombshell and said they were going to be establishing a dedicated subsidiary to develop and manufacture electric vehicles.
Yeah, and they backed that announcement up with a very, very substantial initial investment.
Right.
10 billion yuan.
Wow.
That's, this wasn't just them sort of casually dipping their toes in the water.
Right.
This signaled a very serious commitment to becoming a major player in the EV market.
Yeah, and even more interesting than that initial 10 billion yuan investment was that they said over the next decade, they were projecting a total investment of 10 billion US dollars.
That's a lot of money.
That is a serious commitment.
Huge.
To the long-term potential of electric vehicles.
Absolutely.
It really shows that they believe in it.
Yeah, and that level of financial commitment. Think about what that could lead to.
Right.
It could lead to very rapid innovation.
Yeah.
It could potentially lead to even lower prices for consumers down the line.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot to be excited about.
For sure.
When you see those kinds of numbers.
So leading this ambitious venture is Lei Jun, Xiaomi's CEO, who has, already proven his ability to disrupt markets through their success with smartphones.
Very much so.
So it's interesting that now he's bringing that same drive and vision to the world of EVs. Yeah,
it's going to be really interesting to see how Lei Jun's leadership style, which is known for, its focus on efficiency and innovation, how that translates to the automotive industry, which is a very different beast than, consumer electronics.
Right.
So, it'll be really fascinating to watch that play out.
And things moved really, really quickly.
They did.
By November 2021, just a few months after the announcement, Xiaomi Auto had officially set up shop in Beijing. And they wasted no time in starting to build a massive factory.
And went big right out of the gate.
Huge in the Beijing Economic and Technological Development Zone.
Yeah, the scale of their operation is just really impressive.
Yeah.
Their factories is designed to produce 300,000 vehicles annually.
Yeah.
It's a two-phase operation,
with
each phase capable of producing 150,000 vehicles.
That is a pretty ambitious target for a company that's really new.
Yeah, especially for a newcomer.
To the automotive world.
Yeah, for a newcomer to the automotive world. That kind of production capacity suggests that they're really aiming for a very significant market share.
Right.
They're not just looking to, be a niche player. They want to be a major force in the EV market.
So they were busy building this factory, but they were also assembling a team to match their ambitions.
Yeah.
And by December 2023, their research and development team had grown to over 1,000 people.
That just shows you that rapid growth in their R&D department underlines their commitment to innovation.
Yeah.
It suggests that they're not just looking to assemble existing technologies. They want to push the boundaries of what's possible in electric vehicles.
So it wasn't just about building a team, though.
Right.
They were also developing a product.
Yeah.
And on December 28th, 2023, Xiaomi unveiled their very first electric car.
They did.
The SU7.
The SU7.
Now, this is a full-size sedan.
Okay.
It's a BEV, meaning it runs purely on electricity. It's a zero-emission driving experience.
Yeah, and it's not just a concept car.
Right.
This was a production-ready vehicle.
Yeah, in a remarkably short time.
It is pretty remarkable.
They went from just announcing that they were going to be building cars to unveiling a finished product.
Yeah, their speed is incredible, especially when you consider how complex the automotive industry is. Yeah. I mean, it really speaks to their operational efficiency and their really focused approach to bringing this project to fruition.
So the formal launch of the SU7 took place in Beijing on March 28th, 2024.
Okay.
And get this. They opened orders that very same day.
Wow.
So they weren't messing around.
Yeah, I mean, that demonstrates immense confidence in their product. Yeah. They weren't just testing the waters or dipping a toe in.
Right.
They were diving right in, ready to compete head on with the established players.
Yeah, and then in July 2024, Xiaomi Auto achieved a very, very major milestone.
Okay.
They were granted independent car-making qualification by the Chinese government.
So this is huge. Because, previously they were relying on BAIC Motors credentials to manufacture their vehicles. Right. This new qualification really signals their arrival as a major player in the automotive world.
It's like they graduated from the Automotive Academy with honors and are ready.
They're a full-fledged automaker now in their own right.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not relying on anyone else.
And they're not stopping there.
No.
They've already announced their next EV.
Oh, wow.
The YU7, a midsize SUV, also powered by electricity.
So they're expanding the lineup.
Expanding the lineup.
Yeah, they're going to appeal to a wider range of customers.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
It seems like they're really going all in on this EV thing.
They are.
This isn't just a one-off, experiment for them. They're building a whole lineup of vehicles.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this whole story so interesting.
Right.
Is that they're moving so quickly and so aggressively.
And with so much investment.
Exactly.
I mean, that really tells you something about their commitment and their belief in this.
It shows that they're serious about this shift to electric vehicles.
And that they think they can be a major player in it.
Right.
Which, time will tell.
Time will tell, but it's going to be fascinating to watch.
It is. It is.
So I think it's time to maybe take a little deeper into what this all means.
Yeah.
We've talked about the timeline and we've talked about the products.
Right.
But let's talk about what this really means.
Let's get into the implications of all this.
For the future of EDs.
Right.
For the automotive industry.
Yeah, because this isn't just about Xiaomi.
No.
This is about a whole shift that's happening
in the way we think about cars.
Absolutely.
Transportation and the role of technology.
And the role of technology in all of it.
All of it.
Yeah. So this is a big deal.
This is a big deal.
And we're going to unpack it all.
We are.
Right after the break. Stay tuned. This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Xiaomi isn't just building electric cars. They're building, smart cars.
Yeah.
They're bringing their expertise in technology and user experience to create vehicles that are, deeply integrated with people's digital lives.
It's like they're taking the Xiaomi smartphone philosophy and applying it to cars.
That's a really good way to put it.
Seamless connectivity.
Right.
Intuitive interfaces that focus on user experience. That's what they're known for.
Yeah. And it's a smart strategy.
Right.
They're not just competing on those sort of traditional metrics like battery range or horsepower.
Right.
They're focusing on that overall experience, the integration of technology into the driving experience.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But can they pull it off?
That's the big question.
Can a company that's known for budget-friendly phones convince consumers to trust them with something as complex and as expensive as a car?
I mean, that's the million-dollar question. They're going to have to overcome any preconceived notions that buyers might have about Xiaomi being, a budget brand.
Right.
It's going to take work to really build that trust and establish themselves as a truly credible player in the premium EV market.
Right.
It's not going to be easy.
And what about the global chip shortage?
Right.
And supply chain disruptions?
Yeah.
We've seen this impacting
a lot of the automakers,
the entire automotive industry.
It's been a huge challenge.
So can they navigate those issues
right.
and get the components that they need to really hit those ambitious production targets?
I mean, that's a really critical factor. Their success really hinges
on securing a stable supply chain, particularly for essential components like batteries and semiconductors.
Yeah.
If they can't get those consistently,
right.
I mean, it could really derail their plans.
So there are lots of challenges to overcome.
Definitely.
But let's step back for a second.
Okay.
What does Xiaomi's entry into the EV market really mean for the industry as a whole?
Well, I think what we're seeing is, a very, very fascinating convergence of the tech world and the automotive world. Xiaomi's move is like a prime example of this trend.
Yeah.
And their expertise in technology.
Right.
Their prowess in tech could really disrupt this industry in some really interesting ways.
They're known for their aggressive pricing.
Yes, very much so.
In the smartphone market. Offering high-quality devices at prices that really undercut the competition.
Could they bring that same approach?
That's the big question to EVs.
I think that's what everyone is watching to see.
Right.
If they can figure out how to produce high-quality, feature-packed electric vehicle at a price point that's accessible to the average consumer.
Right.
I mean, that could be a game changer.
It could be a game changer.
It really could.
It could really democratize access to EVs, making them a viable option for a much wider range of buyers.
And not just for, early adopters or luxury car buyers.
Yes.
This could make EVs mainstream.
Yeah.
And that's a really exciting prospect.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, it'll be fascinating to see how the established automakers, how do they respond?
How do they respond to this? Yeah.
To this new wave of competition?
Yeah.
Are they going to be forced to innovate?
And faster.
To lower their prices? To rethink?
Their whole approach to building and selling cars, I think...
It feels like a turning point.
It feels like a real turning point for the automotive industry.
Yeah.
The old rules are being rewritten.
Right.
And companies like Xiaomi are leading the charge.
So, and there's another interesting layer to this whole story, too.
Okay.
The Chinese government is heavily invested in promoting electric vehicles as part of a larger strategy to reduce their carbon emissions and become a global leader in clean energy.
So Xiaomi's success it's not just a win for the company.
Right.
It's a win for China's national agenda too.
It's a very
interesting
beneficial situation.
Very much so.
Where the government is providing incentives and support and companies like Xiaomi are driving innovation and creating jobs.
It's a win-win.
It kind of reminds me of when Apple entered the smartphone market.
Right.
A lot of people were skeptical at first, but they really revolutionized the industry.
Yeah.
So could Xiaomi do the same with EVs?
It's a valid comparison. Both companies are known for their focus on design, on user experience, and on challenging the status quo.
Yeah.
So whether Xiaomi can achieve that same level of disruption remains to be seen. Yeah. But it's certainly a possibility.
All right, so let's recap for a moment.
Okay.
In just a few short years, Xiaomi has transitioned from a smartphone maker to a serious contender in the electric vehicle space.
It's been quite a journey.
Quite a journey.
In a very short amount of time.
They've unveiled the SU7.
Yeah.
Built a massive factory.
Right.
And secured independent car-making status in China. It's really quite something.
It is.
They're not just building cars either.
No, not at all.
They're building smart, connected vehicles that are so deeply integrated with our digital lives.
Yeah, and they're really aiming to disrupt the market with a potentially more accessible approach to pricing.
Right.
Making EVs a real possibility for a much broader audience.
It's a bold strategy.
It is bold.
But it's not without its risks.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
The automotive industry is incredibly complex and fiercely competitive.
Absolutely.
They're going up against these well-established giants with decades of experience, massive manufacturing capabilities, and these extensive, very complicated supply chains.
Yeah, and then there's that question of brand perception.
Right.
Can a company that's known for budget-friendly phones really convince consumers to trust them with something as complex and as expensive as a car.
Yeah. That's a valid concern.
It is.
Consumers might, still have that preconceived notion of Xiaomi as a budget brand.
Right.
They're really going to need to work hard to build that trust and establish themselves as a truly credible player in that premium EV segment.
It's tough.
It's a challenge.
There are so many factors at play.
There are.
I think it makes this whole story even more captivating.
It does.
To watch, to follow.
It's a high-stakes game.
It is.
And they've bet big.
They've gone all in.
Yeah, they've gone all in on their ability to really shake things up. And you know what? It's not just about Xiaomi.
Right.
Their success or failure could have a ripple effect throughout the entire EV ecosystem.
Absolutely.
So it's something that we should all be paying attention to.
Exactly. Their entry into the market is pushing other automakers to innovate faster,
to up their game,
to think differently about technology integration, and to really try to find ways to make EVs more affordable.
Yeah, they're raising the bar for everyone.
And that brings us back to you, the listener.
Yeah.
What does all this mean for you as a consumer?
In a world that's becoming increasingly electric.
Are you ready to embrace a car?
Yeah.
That's more like a smartphone on wheels?
That's a good question.
Are you excited about the possibility of more affordable, high-tech EVs hitting the market? Or are you maybe a bit skeptical about Xiaomi's ability to truly deliver on their promises?
Right.
I mean, these are
all good questions.
These are the questions we want you to consider.
Yeah, because the future of mobility is being shaped
right now.
No.
And your choices as a consumer, will play a role.
They will.
In what that future looks like.
Absolutely.
So keep an eye on Xiaomi.
Yeah.
This is just the start of their journey into the EV world.
It's early days.
And we have a feeling it's going to be an exciting ride.
Oh, I think so.
One that we will continue to follow.
Absolutely.
And report back to you on.
We'll keep you updated.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe one day soon.
Right.
You'll be cruising down the road.
In your Xiaomi EV.
In a sleek Xiaomi electric car.
Yeah.
Seamlessly connected to your digital life.
Living the dream.
Wondering how you ever lived without it.
Exactly.
And that is a wrap.
That's it.
On our deep dive into Xiaomi Auto.
We did it.
We hope you enjoyed the ride.
Hope you learned some stuff.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Keep exploring.
Keep learning.
And stay curious.
Stay curious.